MMA Weekly here with Zoltan Bathory from Five Finger Death Punch. Out on tour, just finishing up the US leg of the Wrong Side of Heaven, Righteous Side of Hell, Part 1 tour.
You could actually pronounce it, it's such a long title.
It is a hard title. Trust me. Well, now a lot of people here are probably wondering, okay, this is MMA Weekly. Why are we talking to Five Finger Death Punch? This is cool. You know, with a name like Five Finger Death Punch, there's got to be fighting involved somewhere.
Yes.
And so it's like, what? But what a lot of people might not know about you is that you are heavily into martial arts. You're a huge MMA fan.
Yes.
And even more than that, you're a combat guy too as well. Not just martial arts, but into full-on combat training.
Yeah. You know, obviously the name came from old school kung fu cinema. I used to, you know, watch all that stuff, Five Fingers of Death, and then Kill Bill remade, you know, that whole 5-point lotus punch or whatever that the secret punch was, but you know, a band name Five Finger Lotus Punch just sounded ridiculous, so we changed it to Five Finger Death Punch. So that's where the name came from, you know, and I look at everything. I was born on a military base, you know. Everybody I ever knew when I was growing up was a soldier, you know. Both my parents were in the military, so I spent so much time around these guys that everything I look at life as it's almost like a combat scenario, you know.
And you mentioned that you know, you bring a lot of guys onto your staff and onto your crew based on their experiences like that. And you especially mentioned that you hire a lot of veterans. But you also do a lot of giving back to the military. And I know you said that
we went to the
your next video, isn't it your next video coming out? You were going to focus on veterans. And
that's absolutely correct. And you know, we did this before. We went to Iraq. We went to a couple of times. We went to the Middle East in the middle of the conflict. You know, we went to Kuwait. We went to Germany. Play on military bases. It's not on the schedule, but you know, the military knows those guys are fans. You know, they know because we are there. And specifically for them. And you know, we even, you know, we were involved in a lot of these things, or one of our videos is basically made from the tour we did in Iraq, you know. And the media asked so many times a lot of questions, you know, that why are we supporting this, and you know, and the politics of the war and all those things. And you know, I always have to point it out, like, look, I'm not celebrating the war itself, you know. I'm talking about the individual soldier, the warrior spirit, the people who have that strength that, you know, you have to, and it can become, you know, it can be about law enforcement as well, you know. When these guys have to, you know, do certain things, they can't run the other way. You have to go into a mission and you have to accomplish a task, and when there's a 10% chance that you're going to survive, you know what kind of man it takes to go into that mission. Or the brotherhood between soldiers, that's why they have this, you know, this problem that these guys are coming back from the war, and they have a hard time to readjust to society. And society doesn't understand what's happening. And I feel like, you know, we need to point this out, that I feel that there's a disrespect toward these soldiers, because people who are civilians have never been exposed to this. Yes, you've never been exposed to this because there are people like these soldiers who went there and got exposed to this, so you don't have to. I always thought that warrior spirit needs to be celebrated. It's a very special kind of man, that when your body is injured or shot and you have to run into the line of fire and get him, you don't think twice, you will do it. You know, and that takes a very, very special kind of person that needs to be celebrated.